Hi everyone, welcome to the MyG Trades channel. My name is Johar. Welcome to another episode of Weekend Technical Analysis. So last week we concluded our episode with E-Clark's services. Moving on to RATNAMANI metals. Okay, so this stock seems to be in very strong momentum. Let me apply this super trend once here. And as you can see from the super trend, this stock has been in extremely strong upward trend since August of last year. And what we can see from here recently, what we're looking at right now is the weekly chart, is that it's broken out from this resistance. It broke out here on in the week of 21st March, went up till here, and now is retesting this breakout level and possibly could further go up. Now, if you look at the monthly chart to see a larger picture, then this stock is currently at its all-time high levels right now. And the breakout has already happened. So this move, this 10% move, we haven't been able to capture. How it's retesting again. And I'm not really sure what targets we can go for. There is no particular pattern that I can see here. However, there is a strong breakout. It is in strong momentum. All metal stocks are doing well. This is definitely a leader in the metal rally. So you can possibly play the momentum in this trade. But as of now, I don't see any pattern or any target. But this stock is definitely worth looking into for momentum traders. So that's the view on RATNAMANI metals. Moving on to SUZLON. So SUZLON is trading at its extreme bottom. As you can see from this chart, it used to trade between at 400 rupees back in 2007. Then came this massive crash in 2008, possibly due to the recession that happened in the US, and since then has been sort of consolidating at the lower levels. However, one change that we can see is if we switch over to the monthly chart is that there seems to be this large rounding bottom formation that's taking place here. And also if you look at the monthly chart, it's making higher highs and higher lows, right? Each low is higher than the previous low. So this is a very bullish indicator. Plus, if we look at the volume buildup here, this in the monthly chart, we can see that there have been these large volume bars in 2020 and 21. So that's another good sign. So it is very highly possible that this stock could go and test at least these levels here at 22 rupees. Very highly possible, because this rounding bottom formation has started from here, okay, and then a breakout, you could say, happened here at this level, this 2019 level that we are seeing right here. This is definitely a nice clean breakout that's happened. And if we switch over to the weekly chart again, we can see this here. So this, that back in 2019 it tried to go up here, then fell down again, and then it retested this level again, then again retested this level, again came back down, and finally a breakout happened, and then a retest happened in March 2022. It made sort of a double bottom pattern and moved up again. So in my opinion, if it is able to give a breakout of above this level, which is 13 rupees, we could easily see the stock going up to two levels. The first level is here at 16 rupees, and then the second level would be this resistance line here at 22 rupees. So there can be an approximate 70% gain that can be derived from this particular stock. So I'm definitely going to add this to a watch list. Fundamentally, this company is not that great from what I know. Let's just look at the financials once, so that everyone's aware of the risk that is involved in if you want to take a position in this company. So as you can see, the book value is negative, so basically they have more debt. And one good thing is that the company has reduced debt, Screener is saying that the company is expected to give a good quarter. Let's look at the quarterly results. And in the quarterly results, what we are seeing is that their sales are at an all-time high in this quarter. Over the last how many quarters is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the last 12 quarters, this is the highest ever sales that they have done, and also the highest ever net profit. If you ignore this net profit, then this is the highest ever net profit. Over here they received some 827 crores in some other income. They probably sold some asset or something, but definitely very good net profit in the last 12 quarters. Then this is the only net profit that we have to consider. If you look at the profit and loss statement, then we can clearly see that from 2010 and back in 2010 2015 they used to do between close to 20,000 crores worth of business every year. That has come down to just 5,243 crores, but their interest has gone down massively over the last 2 years. In March 2021, they only paid interest worth 996, and the last trailing 12 months is just 755 crores. So their interest payments are going down. That's a good sign. If we look at the borrowings also, then yep, definitely the borrowings have also gone down significantly. In March 2020, the borrowings were 13,210 crores, and now it just stands at 6,600 crores. So close to half of their borrowings they have reduced. And if we look here, in September 2020, they got 827 crores in other income. Let's try and see in the balance sheet if they sold something over here. They possibly could have sold something back here because they're sorry. Let's see. The fixed assets are going down, so they definitely are selling off their assets, in my opinion. I'm not sure where that 827 crores came from. And if you look at the shareholding pattern, interesting fact, foreign institutional investors are increasing their stake here. Domestic institutions are getting out. The public holding is still quite relatively very high at 65%. And that also, I'm guessing, I don't know, either these are creditors or someone else. I'm not sure who these people are, but FIIs are definitely taking positions in this stock, so that is also an encouraging sign. So I don't see why the stock cannot go and retest at least this level first. So we should definitely add this to our tracker. This could be a dark horse that can give us a significant amount of return in a very short amount of time. So the month is April. Today's date while I'm recording this video is 23rd April, and the price today is 11 rupees. So what have we identified? Rounding bottom pattern, making higher highs and higher lows. FIIs are increasing stake. Companies debt has reduced, and highest ever net profit and sales in the last 12 quarters. So these are all the things that we have identified. Now what is our target entry price? Our target entry price is going to be when it breaks out from this level. So 12.95 is going to be our target entry price right here. Our target that we will go for, we're going to keep this second target, or let's keep the first target for now, 17.5 rupees, and we will review this position once it hits 17.5. So the potential gain from there is 32%. What will be our stop loss in this case? Our stop loss will be this double bottom right here. So 9 rupees will be our stop loss. So the potential loss that you can take on this trade is 30%. Not very good odds at all, but that's the sort of risk that we would have to take, um, if we would have to take if we enter into this trade. Also, another thing is currently I've kept the stop loss from the chart that we currently have. Maybe when it breaks out, it makes a very strong bullish candle or something like that, and we can keep the bottom of that candle as a stop loss. So we'll update that. We'll update it if required when the breakout does happen. But for now, we are waiting for this price to enter. So let's see here what happens. Okay, moving on to MASTEK. All right, so MASTEK is part of the IT stocks. We are looking at the weekly chart right now, and we can see that it's given a massive run up since COVID crash. It's already run up by 1,718%. Wow. I mean, just wow. It's, oh my God, it's magnificent, the run up that's happened here. Anyways, right now it seems to be consolidating in between 3,300 and 2,500. It still looks to be in strong momentum. If we apply super trend here, we can see clearly that the super trend is still not broken. Even when it came down to these levels, the super trend was still intact. So very possibly you could try and enter into the stock maybe at somewhere around these levels and continue to ride the momentum. As of now, I don't know. There's no pattern that I can clearly see that can help us to calculate targets. Maybe you can put a Fibonacci retracement or something like that and try and see what target will come here. But right now, so there's no pattern. But definitely a strong stock in very strong momentum. But IT stocks are going through a pretty difficult time right now, so I wouldn't be too sure about entering this. But maybe this stock is outperforming the index. Let's take a look at the index ones, Nifty IT, to try and understand if this stock is doing better than the IT index or not. Okay, so this is definitely doing better than the IT index because we can clearly see the IT index has broken this support which it made in 20, which it made on 21st February of 32,400. It's broken this support and it's closed below that. And if you look at MASTEK on the other hand, on 21st February, MASTEK was somewhere around here and it's still not broken its support that it has created here. It's still trading above that. In fact, the closing of this candle is also sort of an hammer, while if you saw the IT index candle, it was a proper body that was there with a small wick at the bottom. So MASTEK is definitely stronger than the entire IT index. So it could probably outperform the IT index going forward. So definitely a momentum trader can consider entering into this trade somewhere around this zone over here, or wait for a breakout above 3,300 and you can enter there also. So that's the view on MASTEK. MAPMYINDIA, new listing, not really sure. There's no really pattern that we have here. If you look at the daily chart also, it seems to be trending upwards since February last month, 2 months ago. But better to avoid right now. Not really sure. I don't even know much about this company. If we look at the fundamentals here, it's already really overvalued compared to whatever industry it's being judged against. And if we see the sales, the quarterly sales for the last 3 quarters are pretty much the same. Their operating margin has gone down in December. Not sure why an IT company's margin would go down. If we look at the shareholding pattern, then FIs have reduced their stake a little bit. DIs have also reduced their stake. Public shareholding has increased. In public also, I don't see many big investors. These are probably some anchor investors. who applied in the IPO. I'm not sure. Better to avoid the stock. In the current market situation that we are, we should just try and avoid anything we are not sure of. Only take the trades that we are absolutely sure of. Let's look at Mahindra CIE. We are looking at the weekly chart, looking at the 5-year duration. So stocks in a downtrend right now. It did try to give some sort of bullish reversal in March, but it's been correcting again. Better to avoid. There are better opportunities out there. If the stock breaks above 200 rupees, then we can possibly take a trade up till 230 and the previous all-time high, the previous 52-week high, sorry, and then we can see what to do. But as of now, we should stay away from this. PGHL, again, after the 2020 COVID crash, it shot up from 3,000 levels to 7,500 levels, and now it's been a continuous downtrend since then. However, this is a good FMCG stock. Procter and Gamble creates products that we all use on a day-to-day basis. So better to, it's good for long-term investors to take this trade, but there's no real reason why a trader should get into this right now, unless you are going for a short trade. But definitely for long-term investors, I think this is a good price to enter into this trade. If you look at SHYAMMETL, this is also a new listing. Let's switch over to the line chart, and this looks like a possible double bottom pattern that it's made. And if that is the case, then the breakout of this double bottom has happened already over here. Now let's switch back to the candles, and it looks like it's retesting this double bottom. And if this is a double bottom, which I do believe it is, then your next target will be the next resistance, which is at 16% gain over here. And the second target, if it breaks that also, will be the next all-time high resistance, which should be 31%. But it's a new listing. Probably some shareholders would be exiting this, the IPO. People who applied in the IPO would be exiting this trade. Something like that could be happening. I don't think it's going to move up anywhere very soon. See, as you can see here, FIIs have reduced their stake from 2.59 to just 1%. DIIs are increasing their stake. Public holding is very limited. Plus, the promoter is still holding 88%. So eventually, these promoters will have to sell their stake as well to meet the SEBI mandate of just holding 75%. However, the stock is definitely undervalued to its peers. Metal stocks are doing well, and if we look at the revenues, then we can see that the revenues have been growing consistently. Operating profit margin is also good, above 20. Net profits also been going up. So all of these are good things. So very high chance that it could go and test this level once. So definitely worth entering into the stock. I would only enter into this trade if it is able to break this downward trend line that's made here. So let me switch over to the line chart. So we can see clearly that there is this downward pressure that's there on the stock. If and when it breaks this, so hopefully if it breaks 370 rupees, then we can enter into this trade for this target, at least minimum 446 rupees, nothing below that. So it's a gain of 20%, could be a short-term trade. I personally don't see much interest into entering into this trade because the target is very small. I would be much more interested in entering the stock if it breaks the 445 rupees level. That's when the real momentum will kick in. So until then, I'm going to stay away from this. I'm not adding this to my watch list. But if anyone watching this video wants a good short-term trade, then this looks like a good short-term opportunity as any. Okay, moving on to the next chart, which is CHEMPLASTS. Again, new IPO looks like has been downtrending. Looks like it's taking support here and stabilizing in this zone right now. If you look at the daily chart, let's look at the daily chart for some time. Then nothing real great. It broke out from this level in March, and then it's now consolidating somewhere around this resistance area. Can possibly go test its all-time high. Let's look what this Chemplast company does. So it's a manufacturer of specialty chemicals, a specialty paste, PVC resin, and custom manufactured chemicals for agrochemical, pharmaceutical, and fine chemical sector. So chemical companies are doing well. Their ROC is superb. 40% ROC is excellent. Debt to equity is a little on the higher side, but below 1, so it's okay. Undervalued compared to its industry, and there is no intrinsic value as per screener. Let's take a look at their quarterly results, and quarterly results are good. Highest ever net profit at 237. That's very good. Their interest payment has gone down massively. You can see they are paying almost 100 crores in interest. So now that's down to just 130, just 37 crores. So that's good. If you look at the profit and loss statement, then the last year was an excellent year for the company of 2021. And if we look at the, I don't know if they have a balance sheet here. Yes, they do have a balance sheet. So this is not updated yet, but I'm guessing this borrowing would have gone down massively in the last year. And if you look at the shareholding pattern, then the foreign institutional investors are increasing their stake here. Domestic institutions are getting out, and the public holding, there are no big names. So definitely the company is very strong indeed. Definitely, I think there is a good trade. This is a good place for investors, maybe long-term investors, to get into the stock. I don't see any trading opportunity per se right now. I would only be interested in taking a trade in the stock if it breaks above this level. But there is no real pattern that I can spot to calculate any target right now. So let's wait for some pattern to get formed in the stock, and then we can revisit this. As of now, it's better to avoid the stock. If it does break this level again, the next target will be the all-time high. So there's a potential 22% gain that you could make in this trade. Moving on to DHANI. Let's see here. DHANI is trading at its bottom. No reason to be interested in the stock. However, I am interested if any big investor got in back in the month of Jan. Let's see if their shareholding pattern is out for the month of March. Okay, the shareholding pattern is out. Okay, so we can clearly see that FIIs have reduced their position massively in this stock. The promoter has bought almost 3% worth of shares. Domestic institutions aren't holding anything. And in the public also, there doesn't seem to be much any big investor that I can see here. But FIIs have definitely gone out of the picture in a big way. Let's see if we can find here. Okay, so Jasmine Capital Investments Private Limited has left, and we can see Bailey Guilford Pacific Fund has left. So these two institutions have left, and then we can see some smaller other FIIs who have reduced their holding, like BNP Paribas, and then this company which is Maybank Kim Ing Securities Private Limited. Some new entrants have also come into the picture. We can see BofA Securities has bought 2.8%. Then there's Nomura Singapore, which has bought 2.2%. So not everything bad. There are FIIs who have also entered into this trade. So something could potentially be going on here, because there's this large green volume candle, and then there's this large red candle here. So definitely some reshuffling is happening in the shareholding, and maybe once that's done, whatever selling and buying that is being done by these institutions and promoters, once that is over, then I think you can see a big rally in the stock. So do keep this on your watch list. Right now there is no trading opportunity. There's no reason to enter, but keep it on your watch list. Something can potentially happen in this going forward. So keep yourself up to date on what's happening on the stock. Moving on to ASTERDM. ASTERDM. Okay, so there are some drawings I've done here. It's related to something else, so I'll come out with a video on that shortly later. But ASTERDM broke out of this resistance which it had, which it has been having since a very long time. Um, back in August last year. Then it came. Then there was a pretty significant downtrend for a very long time, and now it looks like it's trying to go back up from this level. It's consolidated here at this resistance zone for a while now, and it can potentially go back up. Let's look at the fundamentals ones to understand if the company has grown since making this high in 2018. So let's go look at the profit and loss statement here, and we can see that in 2018 the company's sales were 6,700 crores, the net profit was 269 crores. Now their sales are close to 10,000 crores and the net profit is at 405 crores. So the company's sales have close to doubled, not close to doubled, say gone up by 35 to 40%, and so has the net profit. But has the share price moved up that much? No, it hasn't. And if we look at the shareholding pattern also, we can clearly see FIIs are invested in the stock. Domestic institutions are also invested in the stock. Public holding is a little on the higher side, but then you can clearly see here there are many big players in this public holding. You can clearly see 30% is held by these two entities here, and then there is another like 3-4% which is held by another institutions here. So close to the actual public holding is between 10 to 12%, not more than that. So that's a good sign again. So this can potentially be a good stock. I think an investor can definitely enter into the stock. There is no particular pattern right now that I can see, but it's a good stock for a particular investor. I think you can see possibly a 40 to 50% gain in this stock going forward or over the next maybe 2 or 3 years. But as a trader, I don't see any particular pattern or target that I can calculate right now. Moving on to BSC. BSC recently had a share split, if I'm not wrong, share split or bonus share, something they had given. Let's look at the short-term chart once. This is the daily chart we're looking at. So on the daily chart, we can clearly see it broke out from this level, went up, now it's coming down. Now let's go back to the weekly chart and let's look at the super trend. Super trend is massively bullish, as we can see here. Now the reason why the BSE share price is going up, from what I understand, is that NSE is planning to get listed on the stock exchange, and they are planning to list at a valuation of somewhere close to 100,000 crores, and BSE is valued currently at 11,000 crores. So there's a very large valuation gap between BSE and NSE, and which is why there seems to be sort of an arbitrage trade that is happening over here, that BSE's valuation should be maybe like 30 to 40% of what NSE's valuation is, which it currently is not. So if the reports are confirmed that NSE's valuation, that NSE would list at a valuation of 100,000 crores, then BSE should possibly get valued at 30 to 40,000 crores, right? That's what analysts are saying. That's not what I'm saying. This is what I've seen from analyst reports and other news channels. So the stock is in a very strong momentum. There is no pattern right now, but definitely you can see from the super trend that even on the daily chart, the super trend hardly stays negative. It very quickly turns positive and goes up. So if you're a momentum trader, this looks like a good price as any to enter. But wait for it to maybe give a breakout above 900, let it give a closing above 900 rupees, and then you can enter, and then you can continue to ride the momentum, and you can keep your stop loss basis whatever strategy or stop loss or indicator that you use. So that's the view on BSE. Moving on to NLC India. Okay, we are looking at the weekly chart. Let's look at the monthly chart once. And something is definitely cooking in this stock. So if you look at this volume, massive volume buildup, huge volume buildup that we can see here. And there also seems to be a rounding bottom formation that's happened here. It is extremely close to breaking out of this level of 81 rupees. In fact, you can say it's easily broken out also pretty much. And if we take the next resistance as our target, then there is a good 46-47% gain to be made here. I don't know what NLC is and what NLC does. Let's look at what does NLC do. Okay, so NLC India is engaged in the business of mining lignite and generation of power by using lignite as well as renewable energy resources. If I'm not wrong, lignite is a form of coal. Yes, it is. So as we know, there's a power shortage going around. Energy prices are at all-time high. Even coal prices are up. So definitely now I can understand why there is this strong momentum in NLC India. And if you look at the book value also, it's trading under the book value. The PE is under, it's very undervalued. This could, I think, be a PSU company. Yeah, President of India. So PSUs are holding here. FIIs have picked up 0.5% stake in the last quarter. DIs are going out. Government is still holding. And in the public, there seems to be no big holder. If we look at their quarterly results, then let's see here. Their margins are very good in the upper 30 ranges. And I think these margins will further improve as coal prices go up and coal demand is going up. So I think these guys are going to be producing a lot more coal going forward. And definitely this rounding bottom pattern is very promising. This volume buildup is extremely interesting. It's making consistently higher highs and higher lows. This has to be added to the watch list, and definitely a very strong chart that we can see here. So NLC India, month is April, today's date is 23rd April. The price as of today is 80.95, and let's see what we have identified here. So there is a rounding bottom, coal shortage, energy prices going up, significant volume buildup, close to breakout above 81. Okay, perfect. Now let's switch over to the weekly chart once again and let's see what our potential stop loss could be. So in this case, it's very simple. Let's switch over to the line chart for a second here. I want to get the levels right. So this will be, this looks like the stop loss. Phew, that's a very deep stop loss. So that's a pretty significant stop loss that we will have to keep of 26%. Okay, so the stop loss level will be 60 rupees and our target will be 118. Okay, so what is the entry target price? I think this trade we can activate it, but it's already at 80.95 already. Let's see here. Sorry, just give me a second. I lost my bearing there. Okay, the target is going to be here, which is this. So that's 119. That's a gain of 47%. Stop loss will be 60 rupees if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 60 rupees will be our stop loss. Potential loss is 25%. Not great odds at all. This trade is currently active. Here's the current market price. We're going to put the buy date at, what's this, 25th April. That's the buy date. Okay, great. So great find. I think this trade has a very good probability of working out in our favor. Moving on to the next stock, which is fact, fertilizers and chemicals. Okay, so this stock has been consolidating in this range for quite a while now, as you can clearly see here. A very long consolidation happening since last year March. So since 1 year, the stock has not moved anywhere. Let's look at the daily chart and let's put our moving averages here. So as you can clearly see, all the moving averages have sort of merged into this line, and that is a good sign that the price is basically not going anywhere. It's completely sideways. Let's move back to the weekly chart, and this range also seems to be pretty deep. Yeah, it's a 50% range where it's consolidating in. So a breakout above this range can immediately give you a 35% target opportunity. So let's add this to our tracker. The stock has been consolidating here for quite a while. Let me also look if this consolidation is an accumulation which is happening or if it's a distribution which is happening here. So let's quickly look at the shareholding pattern, and that will give us an idea of what's happening. So if we look at the shareholding pattern, there is no shareholding pattern. That is very strange. Let's try and find the shareholding pattern somewhere else. Fact, shareholding pattern. Okay, let's see what Economic Times can give us. Okay, so if we look here, I don't know what date is this updated till. Well, they're basically saying here that there is no foreign institution or no promoter is also not holding anything. Okay, the shareholding pattern is really weird. Let's go over to some other website. This can give us a little more clarity. Maybe Trendline can give us something else. What is this? Fact.co.in. Okay, let's download this. Shareholding pattern of quarter ended 31st March 2022. Let's see it. So if we go here, then so public is holding 10%. The promoter is holding the rest of the 10%. And they haven't seemed to mention any foreign institution or anything as such. Let's see if Trendline can give us that information. Okay, maybe Ticker Tape can probably give us that. Ticker Tape seems to have a good user interface. Yeah, holdings. Yes, here we can see a better. Yeah. Okay, the mutual funds have nothing, other domestic institutions have nothing, foreign institutions have nothing, retail and others have 9.9% posting. So, so the government is basically holding most of the stock. It is very possible for any operator to pick up the stock and play with it because There are no other big promoters. There's only 10% of liquidity which is actually there in the market, which can be traded. So very easy. I think this could potentially be a trade, a quick trade for 35%. And trust me, it will only take two candles for it to do this, because if you are looking at the weekly chart right now, you can clearly see this one candle in 1 week give a 44% gain. So when a breakout does happen, it will be very fast, very furious, because it's been consolidating for a year in the same price range. In fact, if you can buy it at the bottom of this range, you can even sell it at the top of this range and you'll still make 50%. So this is that kind of a stock as well. You can keep trading in this as long as it's trading in this range. And when it does break out, you can take a trade, a long trade in there, over there as well. So let's add this to our watch list. The price as of today is 135.10. So consolidating in single range. Once range breakout, then can make a move 35%. Okay, now the target entry price for us is going to be the top of this range, which is 150 rupees. The target is 200. So 202 is what I saw. Potential gain is 34.67 rupees. The stop loss we will update later. When it does break out, then we'll know what the stop loss is. But I think it will be somewhere between 140 135 rupees, the stop loss. So we're not gonna put any stop loss right now. Let's wait for the trade to get active. We are currently waiting for entry. This is the current market price. So that's the view on fact. Moving on to MGL, Mahanagar Gas Limited. Wow, the stock is trading at its all-time bottom. Could take support here and go back up over here. So it could be like a 1 year, 2 year long trade that you can take at this level for this level, 50%. No real trading opportunity I see here. I'm not really sure why Mahanagar Gas is not doing well. I think gas prices are going up because of the energy shortage and all these geopolitical tensions. I'm not really sure why Mahanagar Gas is not moving up, but definitely a stock which has been consolidating in this range for years. If you look at the monthly chart, you can clearly see you can basically buy it here at the bottom, hold it till here, then sell it, then again buy it here, again sell it. I mean, you can keep continue doing this kind of a trade in this stock. Better to avoid for a trader. If you are a very long-term trader who likes to take bets for like 2 years, 3 years, maybe you can take it. But as of now, there's no real reason. TCI Express, if I'm not wrong, this is a logistics company. I'm not sure. Yep, Express Cargo Logistics company. Okay. Chart is looking very strong. Looks like it's taking a support here, making a small saucer or a small rounding sort of formation and making higher highs and higher lows, and now it looks like it's planning to move up. Definitely can take a trade till this resistance level, which is basically the previous all-time high of 23%. Definitely looks like a trade. Let's look at the a shorter term pattern here, and we can see that it has broken out of this resistance and given a nice strong closing. So the first target, if you are a trader who just trades breakouts, would be this resistance here, 17%, and then the second target would be the all-time high. Right now there is no pattern that I see as such, which can lead me to take a longer term trade. But if you're a short-term trader, this looks like a trade as good as any. Moving on to Shobha. Shobha seems to be in a downtrend right now. So it was first making higher highs and higher lows consistently, then it made sort of a double top pattern over here. If you look at the line chart, you can see that this is a sort of a double top. The tops will never be at exactly the same levels, but definitely a double top here. There, so this M sort of shape it made, it broke this support over here at 800, and since then it's been going down. Now it's close to strong to this level. This shows the previous resistance. It should possibly take support here. If not, then it can go up till 500 levels, which was the previous resistance, and it can take support here. So right now I don't see any bullishness in the stock. It's in a downtrend. Let it turn upward, let it give a closing above 800 rupees, then you can consider going long in the stock. Otherwise I can see this falling up till 500 levels if it breaks the 650 levels it currently is at right now. Moving on to KNR constructions, don't really see any pattern. Currently see it going down, so nothing much to discuss here. This is a downward trend line needs to break out of, only then we can see some bullishness in the stock. Moving on to PNB Housing Finance. So this stock is also in a downtrend. If you look at the monthly chart, you can clearly see that there is this resistance trend line that it is struggling to break out of. It did break out of it here back in June, but then it sustained to fail and has now come back into this downward trend. Better to avoid right now. Much better opportunities out there. Moving on to granules. Then it had a very solid run up after the COVID fall, and since then it's been just making lower highs and lower lows, as we can see here. So it needs to give a nice upward closing above this trend line for any bullish momentum to return. So a good trading setup would be that first it breaks this trend line and it breaks its previous high of 350 rupees. Then we can say that with certain amount of certainty that the trend has changed in the stock, that this downward trend it's been in has changed. If you look at the let's look at the fundamentals once to try and understand if over the last few quarters something has improved or not, because it made this high back in December 2020. So it's been more than a year now since it made that high. Let's see if in the 1 year anything has improved in the company or no. So let's look at the quarterly results. What am I looking at? Grand Foundry. This is wrong. It's got granules. There we go. So if you look at the sales back in December 2020 were 845 crores. Now it's at close to 1,000 crores. However, the margin has gone down by quite a bit. We can see that the operating profit margin was at 25%. Now it's at 17%. So definitely margins are taking a hit because of the higher inflation, which is clearly reflected in the net profit as well, which in December 2020 was 147 crores and now it's at 101 crores. So not really good. Also, there seems to be some taxation pressure here. They paid like 25% tax compared to just 20% in this year. If we look at the profit and loss statement, then the business has grown by a little bit, but margins are eating into those profits. And if we look at the shareholding pattern, interesting fact, FIIs have bought almost 2% stake here. DIIs are pretty much the same, around 4% ranges. Public holding has gone down, which is good. So something interesting happening over here because the foreign institutions are buying up, and you can see that Fidelity India Focus Fund has bought 2% stake in the last quarter. Government Pension Fund Global has bought like 0.10% stake, and this BNB Paripas has also bought like a 0.12 or 13% stake in the stock. So FIs are showing some good interest in the stock. So it could very well be that it can reverse in the next couple of days. So keep it in your watch list, let it give a breakout above 350 rupees, and then maybe you can take a long trade going forward. Moving on to NBCC. Let's see it. NBCC, nah, nothing much happening here. Stock is trading at its bottom, nothing to discuss. JSL Hisar is trading at its all-time high levels, consolidating here. Steel stocks metal stocks are doing well. So I don't see any particular pattern to calculate target, but this is a stock in a strong momentum. If you put the super trend, you can clearly see that the momentum is extremely strong in the stock. So if you are a momentum trader, you should identify your momentum trading strategy. Either wait for a breakout or it will come down to its previous support level to enter the trade. But definitely a stock in very strong momentum for momentum traders. Going over to Borosil Renewables. Wow, a fresh breakout has just happened in Borosil Renewables, as can be clearly observed here in last week. Beautiful breakout, beautiful chart structure, very strong uptrend. If you put the super trend here as well, very strong positive trend it's been in. So definitely a good stock for momentum traders to get into, and solid volumes. Extremely solid volume breakout has happened here. And for me, very simply, the target will be something like this. So a 30% potential gain, and if we keep the bottom of the green candle as a stop loss, so a 12% stop loss. Definitely a good trade. I think this deserves a place in the watch list and even in my positions. So I'm gonna try and enter into the stock because it looks like it's in very strong momentum. The month is April, date is 23rd April. The price as of today is 782.35. Strong momentum breakout done last week. Okay, target entry price, we are going to keep it the same as it is today. I will update the entry price tomorrow at whatever price it closes. Not tomorrow, sorry, on Monday. And let's see, our target very simply is going to be 976 will be our target. That's a potential gain of 24% from this price, from the target entry price. And the stop loss is going to be the bottom of this green candle, which is 683. So the potential loss is 12%. This trade is currently active, and that's the current market price right there. So let's see what happens. Okay, moving on to fin cables. No bullishness at all right now. It did sort of look like it made a head and shoulder pattern here. It broke out from that, and now it's retesting that and consolidating near the breakout zone. Let me just see what target would have come for the head and shoulder pattern. The target for the head and shoulder pattern was over here, 654 rupees. So the head and shoulder pattern is still not invalid because it's still not given a close below the previous shoulder. It's consolidating near the all-time high. Very possible that it can very possible that it can reverse from here. That reversal will only be confirmed if it gives a closing above here. 526. If and when it does close this, you can potentially take a trade up till these levels, which is a 30% gain. So unless it breaks out from here, there is no potential trade opportunity. It can continue languishing in this zone or even go down further. So let's see. And let's look at the last chart of the day, which is Rain Industries. Okay, so it looks like it made a rounding bottom formation over here. All right, it did even give a breakout at this level, as you can clearly see. So there were two breakouts that happened. One breakout, this should have been one breakout. Then this is another breakout it clearly did here. So it broke out from here, went up till this resistance zone, and then it broke this resistance zone also, which should have ideally led this stock to its all-time high. But something's gone wrong. I think I'm not sure what happened, but this stock has broken its pattern and now it's in a downward trend. You can see it's making lower highs and lower lows. So better to avoid this stock right now until unless it goes back above 235 rupees. We should stay away from this. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you have enjoyed the video. We have found some pretty good positions here. We found 4 new trade ideas in this episode. And what surprises me that every weekend that we sit for just an hour and we try and look at stocks in the most simplest form, and we still continue to get trading ideas every single week. So the market is flooded with opportunities. All you need to do is spend some time, spend a couple of hours on the weekend, spend 4 or 5 hours just going through charts. After I stop recording this video, I'm gonna go and dive into the market deeper, look at more charts. I only record for an hour on YouTube because I don't think anyone is going to sit and watch a 4 or 5 hour long session, but maybe an hour people can take out. So do spend time looking at the market over the weekend. Look at charts in the US, look at charts in China, see what's happening. Try and learn as much as you can about chart patterns. Try and find opportunities everywhere. Just note them down on paper. If you're not taking the trades, it's okay. Just create a sheet like this, note them down, put down your strategy, put down what you identified, and see how it works. Because the market's going to be here today, it's going to be here tomorrow, it's going to be here for the next 100 years also. So whatever you learn and right now and apply right now, that will definitely reward you in the future. So thank you for watching the video and goodbye.